All right, just give me 1 second, guys. All right, what's up, everybody? It is your good old boy JR coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. As always, I am good old JR. Today, no bro, not my brother at least, but I will have another guest with me today. It's actually going to be my good old friend Brandon. So no, if you do see him on our YouTube page, it is not Wednesday, it is Tuesday. I'm gonna recap the Houston Texans game today, and Brandon's gonna join me today because he is a representative of Who Dat Nation. We're gonna talk about the Saints matchup that is coming up here this week. We will wait for him to join us in a little bit, but overall, I was very impressed with how the Las Vegas Raiders looked against the Houston Texans on Sunday. They looked amazing. They looked as good as you want them to look. They had an amazing just game plan all the way around. Josh Jacobs, obviously the hero of the game, with his again rushing, his hardcore rushing and everything. And it was just really good to see him run the ball the way he did on Sunday, especially him being the first one to have three straight 100 games and multiple touchdowns. He had three on the night, and it was very impressive. But what I was more impressed about with the Raiders, and there he is, Brandon. How's it going? But what I was mostly impressed about with this Raiders team on Sunday was how the offensive line held their own, and they held their own pretty good. And I was very
What's
impressed.
up, Matt? Can you hear
Oh,
me?
I think you're a little behind. I think it'd be best if you join on the Instagram live one. Yeah, because it seems like it's a little slow. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's my connection or I don't know what's going on. Pay good money for this, and yet nobody can join. But anyway, that's not here nor there. But like I said, I was very impressed with how the Raiders' offensive line looked. They just created the holes for Josh Jacobs. They created everything that you wanted to expect out of a running back to have. And it was just very impressive to see that. I was very impressed of how they played. I was very impressed on how they looked. I think this is the offensive line we're going to stick with. And I hope it is because they have been proving the most effective, especially these last running games for Josh Jacobs. They've just been effective enough to where we can win and we have a chance to win. Obviously, the defense again, it was just so depleted again. And how again we're missing a secondary, we're missing corners, we're missing this. But in the end of the day, it was just the Raiders found a way to win to beat these guys. So I want to get into the positives, the negatives first of the game. I think the first negative about this is that it was just an overall defensively wise, they could have done a little bit better. Again, Max Crosby did his thing again by getting behind the helping him. But again, the run defense again, Damian Pierce, he's a very well known back, and he deserves the recognition that he deserved. And it was just very, uh, it was kind of disheartening to see that the run defense kind of just they kind of didn't really do their thing. That was the first negative. Defensively, again, losing Nate Hobbs, it's a bad thing. It's a very bad thing because he looks like he's a superstar in the making, ready to go, ready to play. And it's very heartbreaking to see him. He goes down, but I was very impressed of how the secondary handled the challenge. Yes, there were some plays that they just gave up big yardage, and I hope 4 weeks. We're not going to have Nate Hobbs for 4 weeks, so it's going to be very hard to try to get that. So secondary was kind of negative, and then lastly, I think if I was going to say anything offensively bad, um, not so much the running game, not so much the offensive line, not so much the passing game. I think it's just the trick plays that they're trying to do. It's really not fitting in very well with what the Raiders are trying to do. I don't think we're a team that should be doing trick plays, that should be doing anything of that sort of nature. I think if I was being honest, I think right now, I think the trick play should be kept out. They've tried other trick plays. I remember week one, they tried a trick play. It didn't work out. I think if I was the Raiders, I think I would try to get rid of the trick plays out of the game plan as quick as possible. I mean, granted, DJ Turner did his thing, and so, but I think the negatives as far as the trick plays, I'm not really liking it, especially with everything that the first week that we saw, and then the just on Sunday when they tried that whole thing with Jacobs taking the snap, passing it a car, and then nobody even got open. But that was just very well played out by the Houston Texans defense. When you have a Lovey Smith, and your staff, you're always going to get smart defensive plays, and you're going to try to be as disciplined as you can under a Lovey Smith defense, and so they just snipped it out really well. So that's kudos to them. But yeah, I think if I can give one thing to Josh McDaniels is get rid of the trick plays. They're not the best idea, especially this early, and it's just not working out too well. But luckily they still got the win. So that's the first thing. Positives wise, as far as this game goes, again, that offensive line, they deserve all the credit. Granted that Josh Jacobs did do the work, the stats show up on his favor, but the offensive line deserves just as much praise for allowing Josh Jacobs to find the holes, to have the holes to run, for him to be aggressive, to use his game, to use his skill set, to enjoy and to really have a career day again, where he almost got to 200 yards again. And this is why, when you look at it now, I'm starting to believe that this is going to be the offensive line going forward for the Las Vegas Raiders. This offensive line that with the Colton Miller at left tackle, Farham at left guard, Andre James at center, Alex Bars at right guard, and the rookie that we got in the seventh, Thayer Munford from Ohio State. Look, I think it's just we have to roll with this. They're a young line. They're an aggressive line, and for the last 3 weeks, they have shown that this is the line that you want to play with. Now, granted, it was Houston. Malik Collins went down. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes, and then everything else just kind of fell apart for Houston after that defensively. But overall, great performance from the offensive line. The second one, obviously, can't talk about it enough. Josh Jacobs did his thing. Josh Jacobs did his thing enough to where he can win, games like this. It was such a awesome experience for him and for everybody else that it was just awesome to see that they how he ran the ball and how he looked fresh and how he looked healthy and how he's just doing his thing. Up there he is. Brandon, what's going on, man?
What's up, man?
Yeah, sorry, I tried to get you on the YouTube page, but it just did not work out. It was just freezing up on you. I don't know.
Your phone been tripping for like the last couple minutes. I have no idea why.
It's all good, man. At least we're here. So, like I said, Brandon's going to be joining us on the Instagram live one. So, if you want to check out Brandon and his thoughts on the Saints game, check out at Instagram. It is at All Sports Talk Podcast. So go there, check it out for all you Saints fans and everything. But I was just telling him, how Josh Jacobs, I mean, obviously, I gave praise to that offensive line because he wouldn't be able to do that with how the offensive line played on Sunday. And everybody keeps saying, well, it was against the Texans. Well, I mean, the last 3 weeks, Josh Jacobs has been having one hell of a season so far, to where he's now third in rushing this year. And he's just showing why he was worth, the price of admission. So I saw it and I could not be any happier. It was very fun to see.
I saw it because I live in Houston, so
Yeah.
I had to watch it. Yeah, I mean, listen, Josh Jacobs looks like the running back that they've been waiting for.
It is very awesome. I mean, the thing is, it's like everybody wants to talk about him being injury prone, but I mean, realistically, he's only missed 8 games in total throughout his whole career. So the whole injury prone thing to him, it's kind of a weird label because it's kind of like, I don't get it. I think last year was just a down year for him, but now with a healthy legs and an offensive line that just looks like they're ready to go. This is not by accident, folks. This is designed by Mick Lombardi and Josh McDaniels, where the offense is going to go through Josh Jacobs. And he's going to take us as far as his legs are willing to take us. So,
for good reason.
I mean, the dude can. I mean, you saw it against what he did to Denver. You saw what he did to Kansas City on Monday night, and you saw again what he did um to Houston on Sunday.
I mean, you've said this numerous times, right? That they kind of start the game off running the ball, and then they kind of abandon it in the second half.
Well, this time they're keeping it full, and the results are that they've won 2 out of the last 3. So, and they could have almost won 3 in a row now. So, I mean, we're looking at a situation now where I think Josh McDaniels finally figured out, okay, let's run Jacobs.
Yeah, because listen, as good as this has kind of been the trend of the NFL, right? This whole season has been kind of run blocking is way better than pass blocking.
Yeah.
Like that's been the trend of the NFL so far this year.
Yeah.
So why not keep it on the ground until you can figure out how to get
the passing game going? Of course.
Because there was times in the Houston game where they broke down pass blocking. Like they were just really bad at pass blocking. It was just like, what the hell are you doing? And run blocking, Josh Jacobs had open freaking holes like the entire freaking game. It was like the last touchdown he scored. When the damn hole was just like wide open, all he had to do was just cut just a little bit, and then it was just like.
I think I could have fit my uncle's or my brother's GMC Sierra truck in that hole, man. Like that's how big it was, and I'm just like, Jesus, that's a pretty big hole, man.
The safety and the quarterback was just like, yeah, we're not catching him.
Like, and I'm pretty sure the safety is like, do I even want to step in his way? And then he had flashbacks of the whole Justin Reed thing, and it's like, nah, I don't want those problems. I want to game's out of the reach. I want to go home and see my family, man. I want to go home and see because that's a hard dude to hit. Like running backs like Jacobs, that's a very hard price to pay. Like you don't want to tackle Derrick Henry, you don't want to tackle Nick Chubb, you don't want to tackle Alvin because those are big guys. And it's like, dude, they're not supposed to be running like this, but they are. And then when you try to hurt them, it's like, dude, you might even hurting yourself because you try to tackle them. And it's a hard reality, man. It's a harsh reality.
Something else that I think that the Raiders are starting to kind of get, I hate that it's happening now. Couldn't play them this Sunday, but the receiver core is kind of coming back. You got Hunter Winter finally back now. You got Devontae Adams that's been there. But, I mean, depending on what Darren Waller does, I mean.
Well, I mean, Darren's out right now because of injury and everything. So, I mean, it just all depends on how that goes. But I will say this. I mean, I think the passing attack is going to get back to full strength because now that Renfro's back, Devontae's still there. Matt Collins is doing his thing. And, DJ Turner, who was kind of like a preseason hero for us, he's back. And, there was a couple times where they did the jet sweep and everything. And that's the thing we've been missing is, a couple, not trick plays, but kind of like the speed for our fourth option because we don't really have any speed at the wide receiver. Like Devontae Adams is a great route runner, but he's not going to burn anybody. It's like, okay, he's got speed, but he's not like that. He ain't like that. Hunter Renfrow is never going to beat a snail in a race, but he can catch the fuck out of a ball. I don't know. I mean, like, it is what it is. And then Matt Collins is a big body type wide receiver that he's just going to go for the jump balls all the time. So that's fine. So to have DJ Turner back, that was amazing too. The offensive line, I already gave him the credit for everything that they did this Sunday because I think they played amazing. I mean, that's a performance. When you see a running back have a performance like that, that just lets you know that your 5 up front are doing their job to give them those type of yards. So that's a credit to them as well. And lastly, I mean, I hate to say it, man, but I think Josh McDaniels finally figured it out, man. And I think his play calling, that was probably his best play calling since he's been the head coach for the Raiders. Like that's probably the best one that he's done. I mean, the Kansas City one was okay. There was just a couple of questionable calls that kind of happened, especially with the 2-point conversion. Now, everybody hated that, Raider Nation. Everybody hated that the whole 2-point at the end and everything. Of, well, I mean, it was stupid. Like, how can you do that? Well, when you're in Arrowhead and you have a chance to win, you go for it because it's either you win or you lose. That's pretty much what it is. I know that sounds stupid, but if you understand what I'm saying is if you go to overtime with these guys, it's not going to be good for you. You're not winning. It's not going to be good for you. So you either win there. And here's the thing. People forget this. They actually still had a chance to win that Monday night game. Had they got the 2-point conversion and they still did the the 4-down stop, they would have just needed it. Game's over. The Raiders ended up winning 31-30. Now the only problem is they lost 30-29. So I think everybody's looking at the records, and it's like, here's the funny thing. The Tennessee Titans right now have outscored their opponents. Their point differential is 13, and they're 4-2. Why? Because they play in a sorry-ass division. We have outscored our opponents. We actually, for a 2-4 team, we are actually have a plus 13 point differential, but we're 2-4. Why is that? We play some pretty good fucking teams. That's why. And we just didn't catch the breaks that we needed to win. Because when you look at the Raiders' losses, 3 points or, 6 points, 1 point, 3 points, 1 point. Again, they're not losing bad. It's just one of those things where it's just like, hey, it just didn't go our way. And that happens. But now, when you look at how the Raiders are running now, and I'm looking at the second half of the schedule for the Raiders, I'm looking at what teams are coming up next. And we're going to get to your team. But then I'm looking at you guys, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, a banged-up Charger team. We're looking at a situation where if the Raiders played this right, everybody who thought they were left for dead, they could come back alive again. And that's a scary thing because you don't want that. You don't want those problems. Even with the defense not as good as we thought it was going to be, the problem is they're still doing their fucking thing. And that's the issue.
Yeah,
it's not going to be an easy road, but, the road is there for them.
I got to ask you about Jonathan Hankins getting traded from...
I think the writing on the wall for me was when he was inactive for the Chiefs game. I thought that was like a little weird. But then when I saw our 2 rookies step up and actually make a couple run-stuffing plays, I'm kind of like, okay. So this is – and then on Sunday when, he didn't play that much anyway, and we still had the 2 rookies out there taking majority of the snaps. They were refreshing and everything. So, and then obviously we have Andrew Billings, who's actually been a big asset to the run game. I think Jonathan Hankins at this point was just the odd man out because we could use you, but we have rookies we want to develop, and we have Andrew Billings, who I know can stop the run. So,
he got some picks out of it.
We got a 6th rounder out of it. So, and that's the thing. I'm kind of bummed about it because Jonathan Hankins has been with us now for about a few seasons now. And he's been like one of our better interior defensive linemen. And the problem is too with Beal Nicholas being there as well. It's just one of those things where it was just going to never, it was just, how can I put it? Too many people, not enough space. You know what I mean? And I think Jonathan Hankins was the odd man out. And it sucks because Dallas does need defensive linemen. They need interior. And Jonathan Hankins can still play. I'm not saying that he can't. He can still play. Now, I'm a little bummed about it because we only got a 6 out of it. I thought we could maybe, I'm looking at him like maybe we could have gotten a 5th, at least a 5th. But okay, I'll take the 6th. That's fine. And, again, Dave Ziegler is now adding more draft picks. And we're going to get comp picks because of how well all our free agents that did leave are playing very well right now. The trades that we made last year, the picks that we're going to get this year. So Dave Ziegler, behind the curtains, is doing his job as a general manager. I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, I if anybody out there wants to correct me, I think right now we are at 12 picks in 7 rounds. So, that's for a team that's young and that wants to keep reloading, that's a pretty good way to do your stuff, man. Because now you can kind of trade up. You can trade back still because you're going to have picks anyway. You can use those picks for other veteran players that are probably not happy in the situation. You can get them for cheap. Look at Trent Williams. Washington traded him away to San Francisco for a 5th and 7th. So, if there's an unhappy player and it's a big need and you have the cap space for it, why not?
Listen, I know they won last night, but, can you guys not get a Roquan Smith from the freaking Bears? It could happen.
Can we not get an Aaron Payne from, I'm just saying, there's a lot of options out there.
A lot of options.
Can we not get a Lane Johnson from Philadelphia if, they're ready to move on from him next offseason? but they need to find a trading partner. I mean, that's fine with me. That's fine with me. But yeah, I mean, I'm a little disappointed. I'm happy for him because he's finally going to get the opportunity to get his snaps and he's healthy and he's going to do fine with, especially with his skill set. He's going to be fine. Dan Quinn's going to love him and he's going to put him in the best situation. So I'm very happy for him. I'm just a little upset that we didn't get as much as I thought we were going to get. I was a little hurt about that one, but you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. We relieve cap space and I'm happy with it.
I feel you pain. You're trying to rob Dallas for everything they had. I get it. I understand it 100%.
Not even that, man. It's not even about that. So, but again, like I said, I think it was an impressive win for the Raiders. I think hopefully this is the beginning of just starting to build, because if they can get on the roll now, then anything's possible at this point for the Raiders. And that's just my belief, but they have to keep winning. They have to keep winning like this. That's the problem. And that's the hard part.
Like I said today, I think the Raiders could shock a lot of people and still jump in the playoffs.
Maybe not win the division, but a wild card again.
They get in the playoffs. I think because eventually the AFC East is going to beat themselves.
Well, they already beat themselves last night. Like the AFC East almost kind of beat themselves last night after that Sunday night game and after that Monday night game. It was kind of like, okay, boy.
Yeah, and I trust Derek Carr way more than Tua, and I trust Derek Carr way more than any New England quarterback. So, yeah. I got the Raiders.
Do you trust Derek Carr more than Zach Wilson? That's the key. Oh, hell yeah.
That's not even a question. It's like, dude, the Jets are like literally like anything we can do to not put the ball in Zach Wilson's hands, we're doing it.
We're doing it.
They literally traded and got James Robinson.
Yeah.
Just because they knew.
They knew what's up. They know what's up. All right. And you know what? Just to get off Raiders topic for a little bit, I'm so happy for James Robinson that he's finally going to get a chance to show the NFL what he's really made of. All right. So, anybody that has James Robinson in fantasy, lucky sons of bitches.
Seriously.
Y'all some lucky sons of bitches, man. But, yeah, to go back to it, I will say this. I think for the Raiders now, they just need to focus, tighten up again. Because, next week, this is where you come in. We got to go to New Orleans. We haven't been to New Orleans in a very long time. The last time we went to New Orleans is where Will Lutz, I think, missed that. A rookie, Will Lutz, by the way, missed that 62-yarder by like 2 yards. And I'm like, oh, my God, we just barely came away with this victory, man. And here's the thing. You guys were dominating the whole time. And then somehow, miraculously, we just caught up again. I don't know. It was just another Saints classic of, oh, my God, they forget how to play defense when I know they're really good defensively. And they just freaking forget. So, obviously me and you are in the same boat. We're both, starving for wins, man. This is not the way we expected our teams to be at this point. This is not the way we thought our teams were going to look. Unfortunately, here we are. So I call this week the Dennis Allen revenge game because for the people that don't remember or just weren't paying attention, and I don't blame you because he was a terrible go. It was a very terrible go around. Dennis Allen used to be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Well, they were in Oakland at the time. Okay, they were in Oakland. Las Vegas was like a pipe dream at this point. People were still looking down on Tony Romo for trying to put up a fantasy thing in Vegas at this point. Like people were still dogging him for that. Okay, but look at us now. Anyway, Dennis Allen used to be the head coach because he was the first guy not to be selected by Al Davis because this was, remember, Al Davis just passed away. Mark Davis took over. Reggie McKenzie came in. Reggie McKenzie's first choice was Dennis Allen. And, he was there for about 2 years and 4 games because after that Miami blowout in London, they landed and they fired him on the spot at the Oakland airport. And so he just went home and everybody else went back to the headquarters to do what they had to do. But Dennis Allen did not join the rest of the staff, and that was the end of the whole Dennis Allen era. Then he went back to what he was doing for all those years. A great defensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. He went back home. He went back to New Orleans, reunited with Sean Payton, and Sean Payton said, "Hey, man, you'll always have a job here." And then the 6 years after that, he was just an amazing, or 7 years, I should say, amazing defensive coordinator. The Saints defense was one of the best in the league. And it is what it is now. Now you look at it, he's a head coach again. I still think he could turn the shit around. I do believe in Dennis Allen. I do believe that he deserves this much to deserve a second chance and everything. I know he deserves that much. But Brandon, I gotta ask you, man, what's going on with your Saints, man? Like, talk to me, man. What is happening? I know injuries are a big thing, but everybody's going through injuries right now. What is it? Is it the whole quarterback situation, Jameis, Dalton? Is it the whole now that Dennis Allen's the head coach, he's really not really seeing the defense as much as he should? I mean, what's going on in your opinion? You've seen the games. I've only seen a little bit of it. What's going on with the New Orleans Saints, man?
Injuries, clearly. I mean, injuries. Yeah, I think a little bit of what you just said. Dennis Allen is trying to be the overseer of everything, so he's not really focusing on the defense. And that's cool, but no, it's not. No, I'm not. I'm lying. No, it's not. It's not cool at all. I think the thing about Bill Belichick and Dennis Allen is the difference. Like Bill Belichick makes sure that defense is right for any situation. Maybe not last night.
Last night was kind of a shocker to everybody. I think last night was kind of a shocker to everybody.
Maybe not last night, but every other game. Like, that's why this Sunday, the Jets, I have no sympathy. This is going to be such an ass whooping. It's not even going to be funny. It's not even who's going to quarterback. It could be Wildcat the whole game. That defense is going to beat the living shit out of Zach Wilson. That's not even. You think he was seeing ghosts before? He is really going to be seeing.
Well, because the thing was, last night on the Monday night game, it wasn't the defense. It was just the keep switching to the quarterbacks, and it was kind of like. And I think Bill has to make a decision now. Is it Zappy or is it Mac? Like, you have to make that decision if you're Bill Belichick.
It's so Zappy. It's so Zappy.
Yeah.
It's got to be, right?
You would think that, but the fact that they keep switching them out.
I just need people to understand something. When he got in the game, they were down, 10-0?
And he scored like 2 quick touchdowns.
Like 13-0. And he got in the game, and they were up 14-10. Like that. Mac Jones was in the game. He threw like 2 picks, and then they were like, yep, got to pull his ass. And Zappy got them 14 points like that. Now, maybe the Bears also have a really good defensive head coach there too. So he can get those guys back motivated. I just think, like the Patriots just didn't have anything. Anyway, going back to the Saints. The difference between the Patriots and the Saints right now, Bill Belichick knows how to coach his defense. That's him. His identity is defense. So that when you see, that's why everybody believes no matter what, New England's going to figure it out. Because defensively, Bill
Belichick's got a hold of it, of course.
This whole offseason, by the way, nobody said anything about the defense. Everybody's like, I don't know what the offense is going to look like, but the defense looks amazing.
And they looked good last night, too. The Patriots defense looked good last night, so I don't know what people want.
Everybody that doubted the Patriots was just talking about how the offense was going to look. Nobody said shit about the defense.
Exactly.
That's what I feel like the Saints is missing. Dennis Allen is trying to be too involved in everything, and you can't. I know damn well Sean Payton was not involved in every defensive coordinator's meeting when you was doing it. Stop trying to be involved in everything. You need to get back to just helping the defense. Do your shit for the defense and just believe in Pete Carmichael that he can actually call a fucking football game offensively. Now, when it comes to the quarterback situation, as much as I like James Winston, as much as I respect James Winston, Andy Dalton fits this damn team better. He just fits it better.
Even after that Thursday night fiasco?
He fits it better. I mean, the first pick really wasn't on him. I mean, no, the second pick really
wasn't. Well, the second pick wasn't. The first one was kind of like, what are you looking at?
Yeah,
like,
and that's the thing I think a lot. Him and James do this. They force the freaking ball. They force it to the first person they see, and that's the only person they care about is trying to get the ball to that person. They got to stop doing that. The difference is, I trust Andy Dalton if we're down. I don't trust James Winston if we're down. James Winston is going to force it even more. It's worse when you're forcing it and you know they're waiting for you to throw it. It's like Andy Dalton can at least calmly get the offense right. Jameis is not that type of guy.
No.
Take away week 1, he hasn't been that guy. Like, he just hasn't. And like I just the offense flows better with Andy Dalton than it does with Jameis. Now defensively, I think we found another cornerback. Rookie Taylor finally played last week.
And he looked good. He looked good.
He kind of shut down D-Hop like a couple of times. Like, let's just be real. Kind of shut him down a couple of times.
But then D-Hop came right back and be like, punk ass.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Like, but hey, to go 50-50 against D-Hop, that's a pretty good day. That's a pretty good day.
Like the first couple of plays that he was on DeAndre Hopkins, kind of shut him down.
Yes, he did.
He kind of shut him down. So, but I think we got our cornerbacks. Now, we get Marshawn Lattimore back and Ponce Debo back. Maybe we can see what the secondary looks like now with those guys there. Marcus May is now kind of fully recovered from his ribs. We got pass rushers. We just sometimes don't pass rush. I don't know what the hell is up with that. I don't know what the hell is up with that, but they just sometimes get pass rush. But yeah, I mean, Alvin's there, and like I said, the receiving core has got to get healthy. It can't just be the Chris Olave show. Like Michael Thomas has got to be healthy. Jarvis has got to be there. Something's got to work. Like you got to get a receiver if these two dudes are gonna be hurt all year. Like you got to get a goddamn receiver.
It's really crappy because I know Chris Olave can do it. That's the thing. We talked about it during our draft process that Chris Olave, he's that dude. I know he's that dude. I think the problem is it's that because he's that dude, and then the number two is like, oh crap, who we looking at? Is it Antonio Callaway? Is it Homeboy? It's like, this is not gonna be good. Like he needs a solid two, whether that's Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry. I'm not saying that Antonio Callaway can't be that number two because he's shown his moments, but at the same time, he's also shown moments where he completely disappears. And it's like, it's very weird because you look at him and you're like, well, you're a tall specimen dude. You got speed that tall motherfuckers want. But for whatever reason, you're not in the face. I know this. I know. I saw that. Like the dude didn't even try to put his hand. It was just like click. Like he was surprised that it was coming to him. Like what? So I mean, something has to get right. Either the chemistry with whoever is at quarterback has to get right with Antonio Callaway, or he just has to expect the ball to be thrown to him every time because.
I feel like no matter what, and that's another thing. After the pick happened, he threw the ball right back to Callaway. So he's just showing you. All right, you screwed up once, but you got to keep it going. This is not the time to pass.
This is not the time to, hey, you can't be down on yourself now. It happens. Let it go. Let's get back out there. But then the second, the second one was kind of like shit. Like, no. And then that's in the whole, meme of the year with Andy Dalton going there. And then homeboy Arizona's, Supermaning it, whee! That's the NFL shot of the year. That's the NFL shot of the year of the Arizona dude Supermaning the shit, and then Andy Dalton's like you got to be kidding me, oh my god, that's the shot of the year. Regardless of what, something cool has to happen, Brandon, for it not to be the shot of the year. And I'm sorry it comes to the demise of your team.
That's one of the. I mean, we're so used to it. I mean, they still play the Stephon Diggs freaking catch and running a touchdown.
Oh, the Minnesota Miracle? That's forever, bro. That is forever, dude. That is forever, bro. All right, trust me. It
sucks that we got 3 NFL plays that no matter what happens, they're gonna always play.
Here's the thing: they could be retired, dead, and they're still gonna play that shit. The pass interference that wasn't pass interference. Hey, I get you, man. I'm the same way with my Raiders, dude. They still talk. Listen. This is how messed up the NFL. I know what the NFL schedule maker is doing because we get to play on Christmas Eve against the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? And you know what anniversary it is? It is the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. Don't tell me that the NFL schedule makers didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They know what they were doing. All right, they still play that shit. They still play that, the tuck rule. They play it all, man. They still play that shit. So I understand. I understand where you're coming from. Tom Brady's not even on the Patriots anymore, and they still play that shit. Half of those guys, God, don't get me wrong. God rest their soul and everything. Everybody that played during that 1972 game of the divisional round between the Steelers and Raiders, at least a quarter of them are not even alive anymore. They're not even alive. And they're still playing that shit. Like, let them go. Like, let them rest in peace. Like, it is 50 years old. Like, that shit's older than me. That play is older than me. Like, let it go, people. Let it go. But, it's just what it is. So I get it, man. I understand where you're coming from. I think for me, when I look at this game and how the Raiders match up against the Saints, again, the first thing that has to come to my mind is that offensive line has to play damn near perfect, like they've been doing these last 3 weeks. They have to play damn near perfect. Cameron Jordan, he's coming. And there's nothing you can do about it because the dude's just an all-pro like that. So he's one of those dudes where in the league, it's like, well, you can't stop him. But you got to pray that you can at least contain him. And he's going to get a sack because that's just who Cameron Jordan is. It doesn't matter who's out there. I've seen him go up against Lane Johnson, and he still gets the sack behind the quarterback. I've seen him go up against dudes that are all-pro tackles, all-pro guards. Guess what? He still gets back there. On the other side, Marcus Davenport, and then the kid that you guys drafted from Houston last year, which, by the way, I think that kid from Houston should be taking a little bit more snaps than Marcus Davenport, but that's just me.
He's been injured. So
I know, but it's just even before the injury, I was kind of like, really, guys? Like, really? Like, really? I mean, it's just, I know it's not my team, but I'm just saying, like,
if he can stay healthy,
then you would think he would get the snaps, right? Like,
I would assume they would trade Marcus Davenport. He's coming up on a contract extension eventually. So I'm assuming they'd trade him and get something.
So that's one. For me, I think so. On the offensive side, that offensive line has to kind of just, because they're not going to make it easy for the Raiders because they're one of the better defenses in the leagues. And like you mentioned, should Marshawn Lattimore come back this year, he's already going to want Devontae. So that dude's done. Then somebody from the wide receiver group, maybe, hopefully Waller can finally fucking come back. Whether it's Renfro, Waller, Matt Collins, or hell, even, Josh Jacobs or somebody, or DJ Turner again. Somebody's going to have to make some plays. Defensively for the Raiders, they have to stop. I don't know what the results are going to be. I don't know what the process is for Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry, but it's not looking good. I wouldn't be shocked that they do come back, but I would be shocked that they do at the same time. It's just one of those weird things where I'm just kind of like, are you healthy? Like, how banged up are you really for me? Like, how banged up are you that you want to, like, you know what I mean? It's like, I know they could be banged up, but I wouldn't be surprised if they come back to try to test the waters this game. So defensively, really what it comes down to for all the 11 guys, there's one man you have to stop, because if you don't stop him, then I've seen it time and time again, he takes the game over, and that's Alvin Kamara. That is literally the one man. Alvin Kamara is the one man where it's like, well, here's the problem. Not only can he run, he can block, he can catch, he can do so much other shit because he's really that good. So if he goes off, then it's going to be a long day for the Raiders, in my opinion. So,
yes, Alvin is great, and yes, Alvin is good. You forgot another person. His name is number 7, Taysom Hill. You just completely forgot about him.
Listen, at that point, if we stop Alvin Kamara, we can stop Taysom Hill. It's perfectly fine. Remember,
I don't know that.
Listen, if you stop Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill is an. Ask me about your losses where they stopped Alvin Kamara and how much of a factor was Taysom Hill after that. Okay, then. You see what I'm saying? You have to stop 41 because if 41 goes off, then 7's going to go off. And then it's completely done. Then it's over, bro. Then it's over. Like, fuck, you kidding me? And like you said, I'm not disrespecting Taysom Hill. It's just one of those things where it's just like, dude, if Alvin doesn't go, you're not going. If Alvin goes off, you're going off. That's how this shit works.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think this game's going to be hard for both teams. Because like you just said, both teams are looking for a victory. I mean, we need one more than you guys do. But it's just like...
No, we need to win because in order to keep our chances alive in the tough AFC, you need to win because your division is still within reach. This is why this is a big, important game for both teams, where I think both teams are really going to play very well, disciplined football. Now, if the refs can just stay the fuck out of this game, I would be okay.
I'm just about to say that. This is like the 2 most penalized fucking teams like in the NFL. Like, this shit is... it's going to either be a really crazy flag game or it's just going to be a real good, just like.
Let them play, refs. NFL officials. Listen, you're already on, like, for the NFL officials, you're already under the microscope of, well, you try to get an autograph. No, I'm sorry. You try to get Mike Evans' number because he's trying to take up golf. Okay, yeah. Like, if you could do me a favor, NFL officiating, can you not get in the way of this game and just let these guys play? Like the last two times. They played. The last time in the Superdome and the last time when it was home opener here in Vegas when you guys came to visit. That was a really good game. And why? Because the refs didn't get in the fucking way. Just keep doing that.
We got to ask.
You didn't get your asses whooped. You didn't get them whooped. I don't think it was whooped. I think it was more of the fact that it was just bad timing on Drew Brees' part. That interception to end the half, that was bad timing. That was like, shit, that's what kept the Raiders in the game. That's what happened.
Okay, so we just gonna negate the whole second half.
Okay, look, what you want me to do about that? I cannot force you to not stop our third string running back. I cannot.
It was just like, dude, like one person, just somebody hit him.
I think too, he's actually fumbling the ball to you guys, and you guys still couldn't like recover from that. Like, what are you doing? Like, if I'm Sean Payton, I'm looking at this like, I think that was the beginning of, yeah, I'm ready to go. Immediately no.
The fact that it was COVID. Nobody was in the fucking stadium. Nobody. And you still
lost. Well, to be fair, I was outside the stadium cheering. Well, because I had my phone and, you know, we were just cheering outside in our little fucking iPhones and shit. We were just tailgating and shit, watching the game. And we couldn't tailgate because the security was there. But at least they were cool to be like, all right, well, just, you know, just stay, chill here, have your phone out, and then just, you know, like cheer and everything and, you know, all that shit. So, you know, it was a big block party after that. So, I mean, it was cool and everything. It was just, yeah, nobody was in the stadium because it was during COVID. You're right. You're absolutely right.
So you're telling me it was literally nobody there?
Yeah, there was nobody.
Nobody to scream, and you got your ass whooped like that. On Monday Night Football, I get it. You beat Tom Brady the week before. What you freaking do? You got your ass whooped on Monday Night Football, and nobody in New Orleans can say anything.
Hold on. There was audience members in there. The Monday Night Football crew, Charles Woodson and Mark Davis. They were in attendance. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying, dude. Oh, and Michael Buffer did the introduction, by the way. Michael Buffer did the introduction to the game. So, welcome to Vegas, bro. That's how we do it down here. We have Michael Buffer introducing our home games. Woo. Vegas, baby. Vegas. It's just but yes, it was during COVID, and I understand where you're coming from now. That was very bad.
It wasn't the fact that we lost, it's the way we lost and who we beat before. Like the week before, we looked incredible. And then we just shit the bed week 2. It's just like,
and here's the thing, it's not like people were like, okay, yeah, the Raiders won the week prior, but they beat Carolina. They didn't beat Tom Brady and the Buccaneers when they were like the Buccaneers, you know? And it's like, all right, well, I mean, you know, the Saints should get this one just as good. It's going to be fine. And then fucking knows, man. Like, shit changes, man. So I don't know. Like I said, we'll see. Is the third time to try for the Saints? I don't know. I think for me right now, I think if the Raiders want to win this game, it comes down to this. You have to stop 41 because if you force either Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton to throw, you have a good chance of winning the game. Your chances of winning the game are better. For the Saints, for me, I think if they want to win this game, they have to make the young offensive line look inexperienced. It's a young line, you know, a couple rookies in there and a couple of veterans that, you know, like, hey, then nobody really thought of them being as an NFL lineman. That's why they're here. So I think that the Saints can go through that offensive line and they stop Josh Jacobs. And again, if they could stop Devontae Adams on the outside, then the Saints have a better chance of winning that game. Because the thing is this, you would like to think that if you leave it up to Derek Carr in his hands, you would think you have a chance, right? The problem is, if you leave it up to him in the fourth quarter, he would possibly win the fucking game for you. I mean, that's why he has 31 fourth quarter comebacks in his fucking career because it's like, fuck. Now, that Monday Nighter, there was only one man that could stop Devontae Adams, and that was Hunter Renfrow. He stopped that man. Hunter Renfrow stopped that man on the last play on fourth down. All right? Not the because remember, he torched that corner from Kansas City. Like he fucking torched him. But Hunter Renfrow was the player of the day for saving Kansas City, for not getting torched and not getting beat on Monday night. Okay. So that's my reaction. I think that's how it's gonna go for me. Now, usually I don't give out reactions, I don't give out predictions because like what I tell people, no, it is not Wednesday, it is Tuesday. My brother couldn't make it. Luckily, we play the Saints, so Brandon was gracious enough to join us today. So I'm not going to give out my predictions until tomorrow because I want to see everything. I want to see the final injury report, yada, 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 all that beautiful stuff, whatever it is, it's got to go with. But, I am looking forward to this game. Is there anybody on your radar, Brandon, as far as Saints-wise, where you're thinking they got to pick it up or this shit might not last very well?
Oh, shit. Here we go. Okay, I say Mario Davis.
Okay.
He's the leader of the team. He's the leader of the defense. And the defense looks really fucking bad.
He has to say something. And, it's not that I don't doubt his ability to play because I know he can play, but that defense has been giving up too many yards that I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, it's because usually you're the one that's literally going after these running backs. You're the one that's usually doing all this thing, so I don't know what you're doing. I mean, I get it that you got Peyton Warner now and you think that you can just use him, but you still have to set the tone. You're the tone setter. So it's just like, I don't get it. I don't understand why he's had this bad of a season. But that's kind of the reason why a lot of them are – there's a lot of defense looks the way it looks because the leader isn't doing anything.
No, it's not. I think if there's one player on the Raiders, I would say that's under the radar, especially during the trade deadline. It is Jonathan Abram, our first-round safety from a few years ago. I love that he's a hard-hitting safety and everything, but the problem is it's just when it comes to his coverage, it's just not that. And I think if he really wants to make a career, he's just got to have to be a box safety hybrid linebacker. He's going to have to be that money backer, just like how all those years that Arizona used Deion Buchanan. But he needs a big game this week or else he probably will be having a new home. I mean, we didn't pick up his fifth-year option, but there are teams that are hurting for safety, and that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, give me a fifth, and then we'll talk about it. Start at a fifth, and then we'll go from there.
I don't know about a draft pick. I give you Tyrann Mathieu. How about Tyrann Mathieu? You say Tyrann Mathieu?
I would love to have Tyrann Mathieu. Go ahead. Okay. I would love to have Tyrann, but we don't have the cap space for Tyrann Mathieu, so unfortunately, no. I would love to, unless you're willing to eat up all the contract and he just plays with us for free. That's about it.
That's not going to happen.
Oh, here we go. We got a couple comments here. Let's see. Jonathan Avalos, just win, baby. What's up, guys? What up, Jonathan? Yes, the show is almost over, but you can definitely rewatch this as we almost end the show. But thank you for tuning in, even if it's a little late. But thank you for tuning in. No, I think for me, I think this is going to be a good game. I really think because I think the problem is that nobody's really looking at these two teams like, whatever. But, I mean, this is two teams that kind of, like I said, they desperately need this. The Raiders need this win to keep their playoff hopes alive in a tough AFC. The Saints need this one because the division is still within reach, especially with how Tampa Bay has been looking these last couple of weeks. Carolina, we know what Carolina's doing, but they just don't want to admit it. And then, obviously, it's you guys and then the Atlanta Falcons. Hey, look, man. They're doing fine. They're just not going to – they're competitive. Let's put it that way.
I can't believe I'm about to say this.
Go ahead.
Atlanta could lead the division this weekend.
Should everything go their way? Yeah, probably.
Like, if Tampa lose Thursday.
Oh, don't even joke like that. Don't even joke like that, bro.
They're tied with Tampa. So
oh
Tampa
man,
Thursday,
you want to cause problems. That's what you want to do.
They play Carolina. Depending on whatever happens in this game, they're going to be the number one team in the division.
Oh man, don't even joke like that, Brandon. Don't even joke like that. Oh, we have a comment here. Ask your bro if he's ready for some more. Well, Jonathan, unfortunately, he is not in today, but I will ask him if he's ready for tortas ahogadas the next time you guys come to watch the game with us and everything, man. So, yeah, no, I don't even joke like that, dude. If Tampa Bay loses tomorrow, oh man, you want to talk about what's gonna happen up until Sunday football, dude. This is gonna be the longest 3 days up until Sunday football. Like, yes, you know how I wanted Dallas to beat Philadelphia on Sunday Night Football. That's gonna be exactly what it's gonna be.
I'm with you on that. I said I am with you on that. See, I would love to see what people will say. I want to see people's heads explode if Lamar Jackson in Baltimore beat Tampa.
But you know that Thursday night game tomorrow, man. Or Thursday. I'm not even like confident of picking anybody because it's like, dude, in every game that Baltimore has played, they have had double-digit leads, and they are 3-3. They are 3-3. New Tampa Bay, they just can't. They can't just. They can't score if you gave them all the penalties in the freaking world. Like they just cannot find the end zone. Like I don't know. I don't know who to trust because I don't want Baltimore to have like. I think I'll be safe if Baltimore can just stay within 9, and it's like okay, they're gonna just stay within 9 and just keep it that way. That's fine. Because if they got double digits, then it's just like oh well, they're gonna just. They don't have that killer instinct this year. Baltimore does not have that killer instinct this year.
We're gonna do this tomorrow. We're gonna pick tomorrow, but yeah, I don't get how this game now is like a do or die game for the Ravens or the Bucks.
I don't think it's do or die. I don't think it's more do or die for Tampa Bay because of how they've been looking. I think Baltimore can still do their thing because it's like you look at their division and it's like really Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati is really their only threat, and they beat them the first game. So it's kind of like okay, this is fine. This is fine.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
And Jonathan again with the smart comment. Like no one's talking about how lucky, not only just the Raiders, but a lot of teams are pretty much didn't pull the trigger on J.C. Jackson. Because let's be real, prior to the injury, he wasn't really playing that well. He got benched and then he got hurt, and now he's out for the year. Now it's like, oh, crap, the Chargers make a mistake at free agency. Like,
did the Chargers make a mistake? The Chargers are a mistake. I don't know what the hell people want.
Brandon, do not insult the Charger fans like that. Do not insult all 20 of them like that.
Do not insult the so-called Chargers fans. Let's be real. Who's been a Chargers fan? Like really a Chargers fan? Like outside of Kellen Winslow, like outside of that.
Hey, the Chargers have had some pretty nice players throughout their history. I mean, they had LaDainian Tomlinson, they've had Dan Fouts, they've had Sean Merriman, they've had Antonio Gates, they've had Vincent Jackson, God rest his soul, Phillip Rivers, Keenan Allen. Yeah, Keenan Allen's up there. Yeah, he's up there. Fuck yeah, he's up there. Kellen Winslow's good. Junior Seau, God rest his soul. I got nothing else, man. I gotta wait for these younger guys to finish their careers to call them Charger legends. Okay, I gotta wait for their careers to be over to see if they're Charger legends.
You see what I'm saying? You literally have to dig in your brain to figure out some Chargers that you can bring up. You got Drew Brees.
Well, Drew Brees isn't really a Charger. Like, I get it. He played for them, but I'll know. Everybody's going to know him more for the Saints anyway. Let's be real.
He's a Charger for 4 years. So
yeah, okay, stop. But he took, really? Okay, if like you ask people, hey, do you remember Drew Brees on the Chargers? You know what the first response is going to be? He was on the Chargers? Like, yes, he was on the Chargers. Like, he was, LT was pick 1. Drew Brees was pick 32. Okay? Like, enough. Don't. Okay, so great coverage skills. But man, I don't think I could trust that dude pulling a SUV out of a fucking driveway, dude. Like that dude, man.
This is what I've been saying, right? This is what I've been saying about the Chargers. I've said this since the beginning of the year when we were doing predictions. They look great on paper. Until they get on the football field and actually play games, they suck. I don't want to hear anything else. I've seen the Chargers look great on paper a lot of times. And then they go against New England, or they go against the Colts, and they get their ass whooped. And then they get bounced out the playoffs.
Yeah, I still remember that vivid memory of them losing to the Jets in the divisional round. And I'm like, how? How did you lose to the Jets, bro? Like the Jets, bro. The Jets.
I remember they were like 14-2.
Yeah.
They played the Patriots at home, and they got mad because they did the lights out Sean Merriman dance after they beat them. The Patriots at this time had Gaffney as a receiver. They had like
Vincent Brown, Vincent, something like that. They didn't
like. They didn't have receivers.
Gaffney, bro. They had Gaffney as a wide receiver. That's what happened.
I think Corey Dillon was the running back.
Okay, but no disrespect to Corey Dillon. He was a bad motherfucker, though. He was a bad motherfucker. All right, he was bad. It was just kind of like, who are your wide receivers? Who is this Gaffney guy? Who, like, you're just finding guys out of the freaking Walmart right off the San Diego freeway. Like,
when they got Rob Gronkowski tight ends, they didn't even have those. They had Benjamin Watson. It's just like, come on, bro. Like, seriously?
Benjamin, like, do you think anybody remembers who Benjamin Watson was? And he, mind you, he played 14 years in the NFL. He played, you know, like what's funny? Mercedes Lewis is with the Detroit Lions, and when he caught a touchdown, people are like, oh my God, he's still in the league? Yes, Mercedes Lewis is still in the league.
I swear to God, somebody said that during Sunday, and I was like, Mercedes Lewis, what the fuck?
He's still in the league, people. He's still, yes, Mercedes Lewis is still in the league. Former first rounder out of UCLA is still in the league. And he's, you know what? Kudos to him. Good for him. Good for him to find a job. Good for him.
I remember the draft that he was in. That's how fucked up it is. That's a very long fucking time for a tight end.
So listen, hey, he's doing his thing. Let it go. Let it go. All right. Now, Benjamin Watson playing 14 years in the NFL. People would ask you, who the hell is that? You just don't know football like that. So now, before we do go, Coco, I know that we beat your Houston Texans and you don't want to get on camera right now. But what do you have to say right now? CJ. I think I know who she wants, pick number 1. I just have a feeling. I think I know who she wants. CJ. Quarterback. I want quarterback. You heard it. Quarterback. I want quarterback, Dad. Quarterback. CJ Stroud. Number 1. Go Texans. Fuck the Raiders, Dad. All right, get out of here. Get out of here with your toy. Get out of here with your toy. I don't give a shit. Get out of here. Just remember, we won. Get out of here. Get your toy. But yeah, I think she wants CJ Stroud. I think that's a squeak for approval. That's my guess. So I think I already know where Coco's going number 1. You still have to get the pick as you walk. You still have to get that pick as she runs away. But yeah, so I mean, other than that, I mean, like I said, we'll be on tomorrow because we're going to do our prediction show and everything. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll get back to this game tomorrow. But Brandon, I do want to thank you for joining today, my man. Everybody, thank you for tuning in today. Like I said, you'll be able to catch this on YouTube here in a little bit. I will post it up here in a little bit. And other than that, I want you all to have a wonderful night. I will be back, hopefully this time with my brother. He had a little schedule conflict that he could not be here today, but that's why I always got backups just in case. And like I said, we will be back next Tuesday. We will recap how the Raiders did against the Saints, and then we look forward to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we'll see how that one goes. Yeah, I know, man. I know. It's games that we need to take control, man. This is the time where the Raiders need to take control. Go get them, Raiders. Please go get them. But until then, Brandon, I will actually talk to you tomorrow again. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see y'all later. Y'all have a wonderful night. Take care. Peace.